Hello everybody, welcome into Ghost Racing Network here live at the high banks of Talladega Superspeedway for the NSRA Sunday Select Series. Going to be race 1 here for season 11. Had the championship race last week, and of course Cody Nagels claimed his second championship, went back to back. It was an extremely fun race to watch at the end. Matthew Baker was in the booth with me for that one, but he will not be with me this weekend here. Nonetheless, we're ready to get going, so let's get right down to trackside and start with your pole sitter, Charles Johnson. Second is going to be Dean Wilkinson. Richard Sanchez starts in third. Cody Nagels fourth. Chris Whitaker fifth. Dana Osborne in sixth. Michael Triscaro, one of the rookies in the field here, starting his first race today for the NSRA Series. He's going to start seventh with Robert Jordan to his outside in eighth. Sean Stevens in ninth, and it's going to be John Guerra rounding out your top 10. Dustin Logston and David Overstreet making up row 6. Going to be Alex Giffen and Jimmy Reynolds making up row 7. Harold Rothery starts 15th with Dusty Burkhart in 16th. Going to be Bubba Winningham in 17th. And there's Kevin Nagels, another one of the rookies, one of Cody's teammates and dad. He's going to be starting in the field tonight. Stephen McComas starts in 19th with Jordan Berry rounding out your top 20. It's going to be Brian Kimbler in 21st with Chad French starting in 22nd. DJ Thomas 23rd, Larry Dickerson 24th. Dawson Wise, good to see him back. Helped Cody, one of the teammates, in part of that championship race last week. We'll see what he can do here tonight. Starts 25th. Russ Hancock in 26th. And it's going to be George Rincon and Andrew Schroeder rounding out row 14. Cars starting to roll off, and as we get ready to see your leader go ahead and pull up, let's talk next about your race info here tonight. The race info is going to stay genuinely the same for most of the races that we have throughout the season. It is the NSRA Sunday Select Series. Weather outside today going to be 76, 11% humidity, partly cloudy skies, and winds at 2 miles an hour. It's the Ricky Bobby Foundation 200. The NASCAR Xfinity Series this week, it will alternate through the weeks. We'll talk more about that later in the broadcast. It is going to be 80 laps here tonight. Everybody's going to have 100% fuel. Unlimited tires, 1 fast repair, fixed setups, and 2 green-white checkers. And I believe that the 100% fuel is correct. However, I would have to say, don't quote me on that just yet unless I missed something. I'm pretty sure it's 100% fuel. Nonetheless, as we said, fixed setups and the 2 green-white checkers. Track temp, that's going to be the thing to keep an eye on because although the weather outside isn't too bad, 125 degrees starting track temp is very warm. That is going to make the handling a little bit of an issue for these guys. We'll see how they go about handling it. All right, so we talked about we're going to have a lot of rookies in the field tonight. We'll go through them all at some point, but you should see each rookie in the field tonight detonated by an R on the right side of their name on your scoring tower there on the left. Of course, championship race that we did see last weekend was a thrilling finish. I wish we had the highlight reel for it, actually, in the sense of the last restart that we had. With 2 laps to go, Cody Nagels managed to jump 10-plus positions, and he still had to get past your 2 championship contenders. Got by both of them on that last lap. Daniel Holloway tough break for him as he had went spinning, and then Mark Mann tried to make a final move for it coming out of 4. Unfortunately, he got caught up in a wreck entering the tri-oval. Didn't have what he needed, but Cody Nagels, along with that championship, did go home with $300. Pace car takes the hard left turn. We're ready to go. Race 1, over 10 weeks of racing, maybe close to 15 here for the NSRA Sunday Select Series, and it starts here. Who's going to win the championship this season? We're going to find out who gets the good start. Green flag in the air at Talladega. Good start for Charles Johnson, but an even better one for Dean Wilkinson. Let's start to crank it up here early from Talladega. Here we go. And that is going to complete lap 1 of 80 here tonight. It did go to Charles Johnson on the inside, the 55 on the outside. Richard Sanchez going to maybe try a different strategy. In fact, I think a lot of the field is going to be trying a different strategy. The way you race at the start of the season when you know you have a shot at the championship versus the end of the season, in last week's case, the last race of the season, it's going to vary greatly. One thing that's not going to change, though, is how aggressive Cody Nagels decides to be. He would like to go for a third one, break the tie that him and Daniel Holloway currently have. You see Michael Triscaro just behind Cody. These two kind of go back a little bit. They know each other from some of the other money racing, and just like that, they're going to split the 55 of Dean Wilkinson here early. That's going to put him in the middle, send him a little bit towards the back. So how about the rookie, Michael Triscaro, on the outside? This could be an early wreck unless they can save it. They're not. The 55's around. He's going to go back up the wall. We got one upside down. That's a big hit for the 51. Oh, my goodness. We have a mess here on lap 1, and that is actually going to be the 25, of Larry Dickerson. Couldn't tell who it was when they were flipping. It was so bad unless that was somebody else who was flipping, and they've had to park it. You saw Robert Jordan in the 74 and then the 55 get together, Dean Wilkinson, and they just couldn't quite hold on to it. Let's take a look. Remember, everybody does have 2 faster pairs here in the NSRA Sunday Select, so I do take that back if I had wrote 1 earlier. Again, certain things that maybe didn't get set up right. I had it right last week, so I'm not sure how it would have got changed. But yeah, 2 faster pairs tonight. So you don't have to worry about if you got in a wreck here, but you certainly don't want to have to start using both of those fast pairs in the first 40 laps. Otherwise, you're going to have to be very conservative later. And, ooh, I wonder if this was maybe a little bit of net code. It kind of looked like they got sucked together. Didn't look like anybody necessarily did anything wrong when the cars first hit each other. All right, so you got Robert Jordan, the 74 up top. He's coming down for a little bit of a side draft. Yeah, that's just heavy net code. Tries to get near the right rear. Heard guys talking about it in practice. It just wasn't working too well. And you can see right there, Robert Jordan gets into the wall. And is that Brian Kimber behind him? No. Looking for who that was in the 64. That did a great job of somehow missing it. And I think he got through all of it. We'll have to figure out exactly who that was. But there's the big flip. That is going to be I think that's the 51. I cannot tell who that is. Yeah, sure enough. That's the, we have it shown as the 83, but it's the 51 for the actual car number of Jordan Berry. My goodness, he got a ton of airtime. There's the 16 sliding back up. Robert Jordan makes more contact, just nowhere for a lot of these guys to go. Take a couple more angles of it here. And you'll see the 51 doesn't really see it until it's too late. He's trying to check up, tries to shoot the gap, almost like ramps off of the 94. Lands on the roof. That's going to do a ton of damage. And there you go. The 68 car was the man that did the excellent job of sneaking by it all. And that was David Overstreet. What a different scheme than what we saw him in last week. Watch this. Actually, let's get on board with him here. This was a really, really nice job of checking up in time. Misses him twice. Oh, actually, he does get just a slight bit of damage there in the left side. And he got tagged in the back. The left side doesn't look too bad from this view. The question would be more towards the back of the car. And it doesn't look too bad either. So I think he'll be okay. Give you one final view of it here from the wall cam. Nothing that can be done about that one. Again, net code between 2 guys that were just racing hard. Nobody doing anything that they shouldn't be doing. Everybody seemed to be minding their P's and Q's. You can't blame Robert Jordan for just going for a little bit of side draft, trying to help the guy that he was pushing to help that line make a little bit more progress. But it's definitely going to be something that everybody jots down in their notebook, that maybe you got to be more careful about how often you try to side draft. And I think maybe we won't see much of it here again until the end of this race when you kind of have to. Top 5 right now: Cody Nagels, Richard Sanchez, Chris Whitaker, Charles Johnson, and Michael Triscaro. He is currently the highest running rookie, but just behind him outside of the top 5 is Dustin Logston in the 38 machine. Chad French in 10th, another one of our rookies here tonight. Larry Dickerson, 13th, already up 11 from where he started, though. And there's Kevin Nagels. think this is the guy that maybe is going to be the driver that we look to see become most improved from start to finish. And that's because he has one of the best as his tutor in Cody Nagels. Speaking of Cody, he's one of our drivers carrying an onboard camera here tonight. You see him in the bottom right. Nice, calm, and collected. You should have saw this guy's reaction at the end of last week when he got the win. He was absolutely pumped. And then Michael Triscaro, the other one of our drivers carrying an onboard camera for us here tonight. He's getting ready to get back to the action. Only 5 laps completed, and assuming that it is indeed 100% fuel, like I said, unless I missed something on that, then these guys should be able to go to around lap 30. Well, initially from the green flag would have been around lap high 30s. But I think it's going to be less now. Let's see if... Actually, I take that back. We're not going to bother Cody or anybody for an interview now, but we will know what the strategy is going to be because I think all these guys will pit pretty close to when that fuel would run out if we can make it that long under green. Of course, last week, we never got a chance for a green flag stop. Just too many cautions throughout the race. Again, it was one of those things where you don't usually see a lot of cautions from what I've heard so far in the Sunday Select Series. The one thing, though, that is always going to be a caution cause you can't prevent is what we had saw in that first caution here tonight. The right rear netcode's been a problem in the trucks, but man, so far tonight looks like it might be an even bigger problem here in the Xfinity Series. Chris Whitaker is going to be on the inside of row 2, and as I was kind of talking about earlier, Richard Sanchez switching up the strategy. Last week he played it safe for longer, set in the back. This week he is trying to stay at the front for the entirety of the race. And while there's not necessarily really any teams in the Sunday Select Series, I guess I should say there is, but they're a lot more relaxed teams. It's not strict guys, and they will only work with those guys, but friends tend to know each other, and they kind of have a little bit of teams formed. Certain guys that they'll prefer and they'll probably work with first. But overall, it's not one of those things where you're going to see teammates intentionally line up, finish 1, 2, 3, 4. They'll still race each other at the end. And I think that's important to note because of some of the drama it caused last week in the sense of Mark Mann and Daniel Holloway, from what we had heard, were on the same team. But, of course, they had to race each other the entire race as they were both in the championship 4. Anthony English was the 4th one of those drivers that didn't get to race in championship 4 after he had some issues. Don't see him out here tonight. Not sure what has happened there. And, oh, what has happened to Jimmy Reynolds? Like he's going to tow. Not sure what the issue was there. Either way, we are back green here at Talladega. 2 guys off the track, Jimmy Reynolds and Jordan Berry. One of the guys that you saw flipping wildly. Richard Sanchez on the outside with a push from Michael Triscaro. They're not off to the best go, but Cody Nagels on the bottom sure is. He's got a good push from the 41 of Chris Whitaker. They're going to hang dead even off of the turn, and the question now is just going to be a matter of who can get the better push down the straightaway, and can that outside line get clear? Doesn't look like Triscaro's going to have enough momentum. Yellow flag is back in the air. And this may have been, yeah, sure enough, it's going to be an incident further towards the back involving Sean Stevens. The 27 machine does have some damage to the front end from this one. Oh yeah, heavy front end damage. That'll be a fast repair almost for sure. And you know, again, in the trucks, maybe the next gen, you get away with a little bit more damage like this. The Xfinities has to be the worst of all 3 series with damage in the sense of if you have some on the front end, it's going to be very rare that you can fix it to the point of still being competitive, and it seems like the case here. So that's the rookie, Kevin Nagels, but it almost looked like maybe a little bit more net code here. This starts earlier, though, because you see we had one on the apron. Let's see if we can get a better insight to what happened. Man, the 16 was falling in a hurry here. Not sure what happened. Let's see if we can go on and ride on board with Kevin Nagels right here. I think he just makes a mistake. Gotta kind of assume so at least. Oh yeah, he's just not shifting. Still not shifting. There we go. Finally shifts again. One of the rookies in the field. You know, he's still learning, but man, that's a tough break. Seemed like everybody had got around him fine, but then I think he drifts up off of 2, and that's where this contact is going to first happen. And watch, does he drift up here a little bit? He starts to. Still good, no harm, no foul. There you see the shift as the fire goes out of the pipes on the right side. And yeah, it looks like he just comes up a little bit. The 8 of Dana Osborne was there. They make some contact. And that's going to turn the 27, the 8, and the 16 all into the outside wall. The 8 goes spinning, so does the 27. I think the 27 maybe gets the worst out of it. Yeah, I think he does. Take one more look from the wall cam here. All right, so brings out your second caution night here early. Only 9 laps in. Ashton Potts in the chat says, hey, how's it going, Ashton? Getting ready to head back to school tomorrow. Good to see you in here checking out the broadcast for a little bit. Hope you're having a good night. Dusty Burkhart going to be starting, leading the field back to green here, but he's got some front end damage. We'll see if he decides to pit to get that fixed or not. Harold Rothery being scored second, David Overstreet third, Bubba Winningham in fourth, and Charles Johnson currently riding at your top 5. How about we go a little bit further back, because it's going to be Alex Giffen in 6th, Dean Wilkins in 7th, Cody Nagels 8th, Richard Sanchez in 9th, and Chris Whitaker is going to be the man rounding out your top 10. Let's see if we can go get a quick interview here with Cody Nagels and see how he's feeling so far about the racing. See if we can get an update on the fuel number. Because for some reason I'm second guessing myself, and I think it's important, so let's go ahead and check, see if we can't get a quick word with him. Hey Cody, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah.
All right. Well, a little bit of a caution start here. 2 cautions in the first 10 laps, but you know everybody's still getting a feel for each other. It's early. We still got plenty of racing to go. First question I got for you here is looking at strategy. How many laps do you think you and your team are going to be able to go on fuel here? And what kind of pit strategy you got set up?
It looked like it's going to be, it's showing my, no, we haven't really ran a lot of laps, but it's showing my worst is about 20, 21 laps. So you're looking at a 3-stop strategy. So there's a little flexibility with how you can break that up if you want to run it long. So I'll have to ask the guys and see what they want to do, see if they want to run it long or do a short strategy. But yeah, you're looking at 3 stops if we can get this spread out, which is the hope. I think there's been, I don't know. I think some of the newer guys may be involved in some of them. So I think everyone's just getting used to each other. First race of the new season. So as an admin, I'm kind of holding my breath and hoping we can get this race stretched out and get a green flag pit stop so we can run this a little bit longer before we see another caution.
Now, looking at that first wreck, we saw some significant right rear net code. Is that something that kind of worries you as a driver about late in the race, maybe trying to get a side draft off of somebody?
Absolutely. I think the right rear net code, you know, we obviously run a lot in the trucks, Austin, and that's been really bad in that. But I think people forget that right rear net code has been a thing in all of the cars, so I don't know if it has to do with the hitbox itself that iRacing has or what, but I know Baker he's been contacting iRacing trying to get it fixed because it's not just the truck, but as far as your strategy in the race, you're not going to want to pinch. You know, I know everyone wants to pinch, but you're just going to have to be careful and maybe do a respectful pinch. Don't park it right on their door, because if you do, you're asking to get net coded.
All right, well, thanks for giving us a couple quick updates. We're going to keep an eye on the strategy. So if I'm correct, then it's 50% fuel, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, I had that mistaken for whatever reason tonight. So thanks for the update there, and good luck the rest of the way.
All right, thank you. And I might be a little off because, like I said, we ain't ran much, so maybe it's a little less than 20. So we'll see.
We certainly will. Good luck the rest of the way, Cody.
Thank you.
And put Cody back with his teammates. He's got a big team tonight. I see DJ Thomas in there, Jimmy Reynolds, of course, Kevin, Robert Jordan. We saw them before. Michael Triscaro, he's in there. And if you are over there with that team, you're going to have good success. I think that's for sure. So, yeah, I did have the fuel number wrong off the start. Not sure why. I think I had it correct last week. But nonetheless, yeah, 50% fuel for these guys. Just got confirmation there from Cody. And I like that because that's going to give us more pit stops. Definitely going to spread the strategy out. So looking for these guys to come in here probably around lap 20, or excuse me, 30, between 30 and 32, depending on where you're running in the pack. And it's a pretty long single file line, so I think a lot of guys did decide to go in and top off, and they might be focused on a certain strategy. We'll have to see how that strategy works out. All right, Dusty Burkhart and Harold Rothery, row 1, both of them have some damage. We'll see how bad it affects them as the green flag is back in the air. Big jump on the outside for the 68 machine. Harold Rothery gets way ahead. He's going to have a chance to drop down here. He might even be able to bring his pusher with him. Nope, not quite, and he's actually going to stay up there. That's a surprising move. He has pretty heavy damage on the front. Usually when you see that, that's your cue that you need to drop down as soon as possible. Cody might know this because he is on the third lane and he is going by himself. Now he's going to get some help from the 55 of Dean Wilkinson. And those two, I'm sure they'll probably attract a little bit more attention. Maybe get another guy or two to jump up to that third lane. That's what they're going to need to get to the front. And you saw the 66 right there of Bubba Winningham. He thought about it, thought better of it, and he is going to stick behind the 68. Harold Rothery still leads the inside. His damage is in the rear, so I wasn't too worried about him. 69 was the guy I was worried about, and there you go. The big run down the front stretch allows Cody Nagels to get clear, and he dropped right down. Didn't worry about wasting any time bringing Dean with him. Dean is, though, now going to be able to get clear of the middle line. Cody jumped all the way to the bottom. Trucks, you have to play with the lanes, control every single lane when you're in the front. Xfinity, not so much. You know, maybe a little bit. You got to switch lanes every once in a while to keep everybody cool, so you can keep whatever line you're in towards the front. Oh, we got contact, one off the track. That's the 9 of Charles Johnson. Does he save it? He does. It's going to send him further to the back as Chris Whitaker let him back up, but he is still in the draft and he's got some help. They'll get back up there, but it's probably going to take 3 or 4 laps. Meanwhile, back at the front, Dean Wilkinson has now got clear of the inside if he decides to take it. 68 seems to be staying pretty close now that he's in draft. The front of that car where he had the damage is no longer hitting the clean air first, so it's not affecting him quite as bad. But it might be hurting him just a little bit. As you see, he cannot quite pull up and get as tight to the rear bumper of Dean as the 11 is on Cody Nagels. Same with the outside line, Harold Rothery on the inside pushing, and on the outside pushing, that's Dawson Wise already, it looks like. Might be missing something here. I am not. Dawson Wise in that bright orange and white 98. He's got some damage on his back bumper, but he still looks nice and fast right now. Interestingly enough, you don't see Mark Mann or Daniel Holloway out here. The two guys running in the championship for who were just here last week. Pretty good field here, though, for the first race at 28 cars. We might have a couple more, a couple less throughout the season, but I think it's going to stay pretty consistent. But right now, what doesn't look too consistent is the third lane, as it is now starting to fade back. The inside, no help either, so Cody Nagels, he is going to lose the lead right here to Dean Wilkinson. Dean, does he drop down? He's been in that middle for quite a while. You got to wonder how hot is the 68 getting, and yeah, 68 was getting ready to, 69. I apologize, I think I've been saying the 68, but that's the 69 of Dusty Burkhardt, of course, but he looked like he was getting a little impatient there. Maybe thought about he was just going to jump down at that point because he was getting hot, but finally Dean had jumped down with him, and they're both going to coast the bottom. The 48 of Andrew Schroeder now leads the middle. Behind him, he's got the 8 of Dana Osborne, and your highest running rookie is still going to be Michael Triscaro. He now leads that third lane, getting a little side draft off of Richard Sanchez. We'll see, do either of these guys decide to jump up? I certainly don't think the 48 would, but the 8 might consider it. Looks like he doesn't. Going to stay in line down the back straightaway. Let's ride on board here. Take a look at the speeds some of these guys are running. Head out with Cody Nagels. Actually, let's go up a spot here. Dawson Wise pushed on the outside line. Let's see what the speeds are looking like. 184 on exit. You see he does not risk pushing the turns. You can't really do that in the Xfinity cars. You'll see guys push the issue late. Sometimes it'll work, but it's a lot easier for something to go wrong than it is in any of the other series. Down the front stretch, the second fastest car of the 3 series. They're going to get up to about 190. If they were really pushing late in the run, I think they might get up to about 193 maybe. And there's your leader, Andrew Schroeder. He's got a good view. All he's got to do is hold a nice and steady wheel. No more, no less. Looking at the track map, there's a couple solo guys. First one that is in the back right here is going to be Sean Stevens. He's got no help. He does still have damage. It looks like he decided to not take the fast repair. That's a surprising call for me. Again, unless stuff has changed from last week that I'm not aware of, Everybody's got 2 faster pairs. I don't understand why you wouldn't use at least one of them right here, because now he could be putting himself in danger of, if somehow we start to get some green flag pit stops, maybe the caution never flies. His race could be over here really early. Kevin Nagels, he's got damage in the back. Looks like he chose not to use the faster pair either. Front end seems to be pretty clean. Jimmy Reynolds not currently on the lead lap. In fact, he is 6 laps down. He would need a lot of cautions, and he would need them here soon if he wants any chance to get back on the lead lap. But then back up front, they are 3 wide throughout pretty much the entire pack. A couple guys that are in the back of it are just playing it safe, hanging on to the pack but not getting too close in case something were to go wrong. Robert Jordan in the back of the pack with Chris Whitaker. And up front, man, there was almost a couple times where there was some contact right there. Everybody continues to hold on. So you got Dana Osborne leading that bottom line. Ooh, we got one shuffled out of line coming up. Almost got into Dean Wilkinson right there. Was the 48. But man, Andrew Schroeder continues to try to hang on. The 69 just behind both of these guys with some damage. And this is what all the really good guys like to see. And this is where it starts to become the chess match, in the sense of who's going to push harder. You don't want to waste too much of your temps. So you kind of just try to keep your guys side by side until the guy on your outside gets too hot, guy on your outside or your inside, depending on which lane you're in. That's when you strike. That's when you make the move. You go full throttle, try to push your guy out in front and hope that he takes whatever lane becomes open. Charles Johnson, your pole sitter on the outside. It looks like Jimmy Reynolds bringing it back down to the pits. He may have decided to either bring his night to an end, or he is just letting these guys go by and he figured he might as well pit in the process. And Charles Johnson is going to get shuffled out big time here on the outside. Now he has got no help. Richard Sanchez leads the outside. How about the 99 now getting up here? Alex Giffen. Michael Triscaro still in the mix. Ooh, Dana Osborne gets off the track. Looking for a way back on. Is anybody going to let him up? Nobody yet. And there you go. Finally finds a spot in line. At the back of the line, that is. And we are approaching lap 20, going to take it this time. So that means we are now going to be 10 to 15 laps away or so from that first green flag pit stop, assuming we can make it there. While things have calmed down, we are going to take our first side-by-side break of the night. We will be right back from Talladega.
Ghost Racing Network now has merch. Go to grnmerch.com to browse our selections from stickers to custom-made by-request hoodies and shirts. If you've ever wanted to support Ghost Racing Network outside of YouTube, here's your chance. Ghost Racing Network, for the scary side of iRacing.
Back live at Talladega Superspeedway. It's the Ricky Bobby Foundation 212 here at the High Banks. And in the lead is Richard Sanchez. Took it away from Dean Wilkinson. Oh, that's Kevin Nagels on the apron. He looks like he was getting really loose. He holds on, but man, you can tell he is struggling to keep that thing down. And he's going to get up a little early. That's probably going to give him a black flag. Again, one of the rookies. He is learning. Looked like he still had a lane to come up. Talladega is, unlike Daytona, the apron is banked. but there's kind of two lanes on the apron. If you're on the bottom lane, it's not banked. You got to get up to that top line where it's equal banking. You see there just below the yellow where it is banked. And it looked like Kevin couldn't quite do it that time. Green flag pit stop starting to look more like a reality, but man, it looks like a mess out back. A lot of shuffling around, 3, almost 4 wide, but nobody really making any progress in all of these moves. The 88 of John Guerra in the middle. Dustin Logston, the 38, sitting just behind Russ Hancock. Good to see Russ in the field tonight. Not sure if he was one of the drivers from last season, but he's having a good run so far tonight, up 11 from where he started. The 343 machine is in 15th. And looking at one of the cooler paint schemes that we got out here tonight, I'll tell you what, DJ Thomas, this is one of Cody Nagels' teammates here tonight from the looks. He's got the Adidas paint scheme. That is a really sweet looking car. It's got a little damage to the front. But if we get this caution, or not caution, excuse me, hope we don't get a caution. If we get this green flag stop, he might have a chance to either fix a little bit more of it, doesn't look too bad, or just simply take that fast repair and not have to worry about fixing it. I am a big fan of the 2 fast repairs, and the one thing so far that I got to say has impressed me about the Sunday Select Series is the fact that even with 2 fast repairs, these guys seem to race each other really respectfully. We see mistakes here and there. I mean, you look at the 2 cautions tonight. First one was netcode. Nothing anybody could do. Second one was the rookie, Kevin Nagels, just with a little bit of an inexperience. And just as I say that, I better hold my breath for just a second. The 48 came down just a little bit. Andrew Schroeder almost got into Dean Wilkinson, who had to drop way down, and the 69 followed. Dusty Burkhart. On the outside, Dana Osborne continues to fall in that 3rd line. Can't get up to Michael Triscaro and Dawson Wise. Those 2 have worked together a couple times outside of the NSRA Sunday Select Series. So, you know, they're going to be pretty coordinated. The only thing that's getting tricky at this point late in the run is the hot track temps mixed with a car that already tends to be a little bit darty in general. And you can see guys starting to dart around a little bit more and more as here comes the 41 of Chris Whitaker. He might have heard that pit stops are going to be here in the next 5 to 12 laps. Excuse me, 5 to 7 laps. So he wants to immediately get to the front. Leading the field into the pit stops is going to be a lot better than being in the back of it. You can get into the pits a lot more conservative. Oh my goodness, Triscaro tried to make a 3rd line work there. Chris was able to cut it off, but then he jumped down low. That gives Triscaro the top, and Richard Sanchez now the push on the bottom. Here we go. We're going to see our first round of pit stops here. Looks like it is going to be, can't tell if these guys were one of the teams. I'm sure they were, but it was Charles Johnson as one of them. He gets in clean with his teammate Dean Wilkinson. And by teammate, whether they're teammates or not, they went in together, so they're going to be teammates for now, at least until everything gets all sorted out. And sure enough, looks like those are the 2 TW Motorsports guys. And with these 2 coming down now, you got to wonder how quickly does it draw the rest of the field. I was predicting, after what we heard from Cody, that they should be able to go another 5 laps, 4 or 5 laps. So I'm surprised to see these guys get in this early, especially with only 2 cars, and they were not on the same strategy. Looks like Charles Johnson may have took 4 tires. Dean Wilkinson taking 2 and gas. And I do like that strategy. I think that's the best, especially when you get spread out and you don't need handling quite as much. Take yourself only 2 tires. That's enough to where if you fill it up with fuel, you won't have to wait on anything, as looks like David Overstreet leads him in. Everybody gets in nice and smooth this time. Just behind Overstreet is going to be Harold Rothery, Chad French, one of the rookies, Stephen McComas, and Bubba Winningham. They all pit together. See if they can come out that way. I am not sure what happened to Charles Johnson. He had still been stuck in the pits. He still is stuck in the pits. Could not tell you what has gone wrong here with the 9, but that is unfortunate because he was up there running with the leaders. And now he's going to lose multiple laps. Michael Triscaro and Chris Whitaker still out leading the way when Cody Nagels goes in. I think that's what's going to pretty much be the sign for just about everybody else in this pack to go ahead and go in. But I take that back. We're going to have 1 peel off. Oh, he commits. The 41's late. He's going to go spinning through the grass. Does he save it? Trying to keep it off the inside wall was Chris Whitaker. Everybody in the field does save it, as there's a big pack behind him that pits. Dawson Wise in the middle of this pack. We'll go back and take a look at what just happened there for Chris. They look like it might have been a late commitment. 20 gets into his box with no issues. And it was interesting how far back this group had gotten from the leaders. watch where they're going to come out in comparison to Dean Wilkinson, who had already pit. Take a look at it here from TV1. Charles Johnson comes back out now as well. There goes the field by. Is this going to be Dean right here? It is not. Yeah, you see Dean still has not made his way into the picture. There he goes. And I just don't know if he's close enough that he's going to be able to hang on to the pack here. There goes Cody Nagels. Oh, he brought everybody else with him. The aid of Dana Osborne, Richard Sanchez let him in. And everybody's in a mad dash to get to the correct lane to make it to their pit box the quickest. And this is what I was excited to see. I'll tell you what, at super speedways, I am a fan of green flag stops. Don't get me wrong, you like a mix of races, but man, once in a while, it is so refreshing to see one of these races with a chance to get spread out, because then it becomes a matter of who can execute the best on and off a pit road, go down with the right guys, and save the racing for the end when the pay window opens. So it looks like now your leader is being shown as Brian Kimbler, Richard Sanchez, the first out of the pits. We'll see, can anybody catch him from that group that pitted a little bit earlier? Just a lap earlier, that is. Dawson Wise. There's that big pack out back. They're not close enough yet. I think there might be enough bridge cars, and that's the guys that you see here that are all kind of spread out. There might be enough of those guys to allow them to catch up. But I think Dawson and the 20 need to try to drop in line here pretty quick. They stay on the outside for now. And now they're going to tuck in line maybe as they fall back. Still nothing yet. There they go. They're finally going to drop to the inside. Now back to the outside as those two are going to make a move. Yeah, they are going to be able to track down Cody Nagels and Richard Sanchez, who got on and off pit road really, really good. Both of them getting probably the fastest time in, out, and during the stop itself that you could probably get. Let's go back and take a look at the incident involving Chris Whitaker, the only real incident that we had for this pit cycle. And is it just going to be a late commitment here? Does somebody decide one thing and then decide another? See, the 69 peels off. Does the 41 decide to peel off late? No, he doesn't. It was not a late commitment. It was the 34 of Michael Triscaro. I think he got a bad push from the top. Andrew Schroeder, who was pushing him, and then he gets down into the 41 of Chris Whitaker, who's going to go for a slide. Does a phenomenal job of saving it there, then has to wheel it off of the pit wall. And I think he just goes ahead and hits his pit box right here, I would assume. Or actually, if he overshot it, which he must have because he decides not to. And let's look at that from the chopper. Watch it nice and slow. The 34 on the outside, Michael Triscaro. That's the 48 of Andrew Schroeder. Yeah, he gets offset here. Not sure if maybe the 34 had started to wash up from a push or if the 48 just started to go down. But yeah, he got him offset. And Chris, just the innocent bystander there. It's unfortunate, but it happens sometimes in this style of racing. And how about how we have already thinned out the pack through just the first green flag stop? I mean, that's what's really amazing me right now. So we got to go through and let's kind of break down these packs for you. Let's pull that track map right back up. This is the lead pack that you see everybody battling for position right now. It's being led by DJ Thomas. Just behind them, it's a 3-car pack with David Overstreet, Dean Wilkinson, and Dustin Logston. I think these guys might be able to catch, but they're going to have to push really hard. Right now, they sit just over a second and a half behind. If they can get it somewhere, actually, no, they're in it now. Yeah, they just caught it. I was going to say a second and a half and under. They're definitely going to be there. And they are. Now they're going to start to pull up in a hurry. Gap closing at over 2/10 every couple of hundred yards, I would say. Dean Wilkinson is Dustin Logston, the last guy in that second pack. And then Harold Rothery by himself, going to be this kind of third pack just behind him. Stephen McComas leading that fourth pack. And then Michael Triscaro leading that fifth. And I believe final pack right now. Yep, sure enough, everybody else is by themselves. Actually, the 70 and the 94, all these guys, they were in that fourth pack. Yeah, fourth pack. Yep, so sure enough, that was it. Everybody else single file. A couple of these packs, as we said, we're going to be able to close back up. So it's still going to be a decent-sized pack here. Looks like somewhere between 15 and 20 cars. But we're going to have another green flag stop, and if we can make it there, then we're going to break this pack up even more. And again, you know that some of the guys that are really, really good at super speedways, such as Cody Nagels, they're really favoring the idea here of going all the way here till the next green flag stop because they know it gives them a chance to break up the pack And any chance you can get to break up a pack just increases the chances of you or someone from your team winning. But they're still getting racy up here. We got guys switching lane. There goes Dawson Wise to the bottom. Now Charles Johnson, who does lead that middle line, he is no longer on the lead pack. Had some troubles on the pits. Not sure exactly with what, but you can see he is now down 2 laps. We got a couple more guys that are not on the lead lap either. John Guerra is currently the first car a lap down, so he's in the lucky dog spot. But Sean Stevens, who sits just behind him, is, well, not just behind him, I take it back, and one of the packs behind the lead pack, he is also only a lap down, so his best hope right now is going to be that John Guerra either gets in a wreck, but looks like now Dana Osborne has also fallen a lap down, so this is going to change that strategy up even more as Dana hanging on to the pack. Mark Ware says, go Bubba, and Chase says, hi. Good to see you, Chase. How's it going? Hope you guys are having a good Sunday night. Excited here for the partnership with Ghost Racing Network and the NSRA Sunday Select Series for Season 11. Good super speedway racing is always fun to watch. Doesn't matter what day or what time it is. So on a Sunday night, if you're looking for a league to come racing, have some fun, get yourself on a broadcast. Not sure how important that is for some of you guys, but this is going to be your series to do it. And I'll tell you what, if I was not a broadcaster, this very well might be a series that I would have joined this season, especially after seeing what I got to see at the end of last season with the phenomenal racing that it's put on. And we are approaching the halfway mark. Again, we had pit stops. On lap 30 was the last guys pitting, so I would expect the next stop to be around lap 50. Put us at about 50 laps from now. So Charles Johnson trying to get one of those laps back, and that would be pretty important because that would only put him 1 lap down and give him a better shot of getting the lucky dog or potentially the wave around here if we were to get a caution. Up to the top line now is going to go one of the rookies. That's the 38 of Dustin Logston. He's going to get some help from Dana Osborne, and this is what you're going to get when you have a couple lap cars mixed in with the leaders. Some of these lap cars know that they're battling other guys in this pack for the lucky dog position. So they're going to try to work their way through the pack as quick as possible. And Dana leaves. I was going to say go ahead and just leaves pretty much the 38 of Dustin Logston. He's probably not going to be too happy about that. Now, the next question is going to be, can this pack back here catch up to this lead pack? Let's take a look. Steven McComas. Right now the gap is at 10.5 seconds. And it looks like it has been closing to hanging even, but it's just been a really, really slow gain. They lose a little bit on times like this where they got to go around a lap car. In this case, it's Kevin Nagels. But they are about to get caught by that pack that's just behind them, being led by Michael Truscaro, so that'll make this pack bigger. Now, it's still plenty of time in terms of the amount of laps we have left to track them down, but that would be assuming that all these guys can get into the pits clean and back out. And just in the last 3/4 of a lap that we've been watching them now, unfortunately they have fallen, looks like almost half a second from the back bumper of the lead pack. And it's frustrating as a driver. You can see that lead pack in your front windshield. And all you can do is sit there and try to hold a steady wheel and just hope that you can catch up. This is exactly what Steven McComas is doing. Larry Dickerson was able to catch back up. He's one of the rookies hanging on to the back of this pack. Let's actually ride on board with Steven right here. And watch it. He'll see him at least on the back stretch here. Not sure if he'll get a glimpse of him on the front stretch. Look how he's got his offset. Something to note here in the Xfinity cars. A lot of guys will run the wheel offset to the left. I think it actually kind of comes stock that way when you join the session. Some guys will straighten it. Some guys like it that way. I was never a big fan of it. I don't know. It just kind of confused me a little bit on the straights. But you can see Steven right here is not quite running on the yellow. Probably doesn't feel the need to. Wants to give that guy behind him a chance to push as much as he possibly can. And I thought these guys could see the leaders in the windshield. They can't. And the reason for that is because they've lost basically another 2 seconds in that time that we've been riding on board. So, man, unless that second pack can figure something out in a hurry here, I just don't think they have a chance, which it's surprising when you look at what the front pack is doing here. I mean, they are 3x3, and they are racing like it is the last 5 laps. David Overstreet on the outside has the 38 of Dustin Logston pushing him. The 55 of Dean Wilkinson was pushing Andrew Schroeder, who couldn't quite make up his mind right there on which lane he wanted. They're forcing Charles Johnson off the track. That causes a checkup on the inside, but they get down there. Coming up on the lapper now of Chris Whitaker. Tough break for Chris earlier as he was involved. Well, it didn't end up being a caution, but involved in an accident during a pit cycle. He got sent through the grass onto the pits, not of his doing. But this should, I believe this will be here to just lose his first lap. Let's see, it looks like, yeah, sure enough. Oh no, second lap for Chris Whitaker right here, I believe. We'll see when we get at the line here. Actually, it may have only been his first, but whether it's his first or second, he's still got a lot of guys that he's going to have to battle. I'm kind of shocked by the amount of guys we've put a lap down already. 21st on back out of a 28-car field are not on the lead lap. Andrew Schroeder has been plenty aggressive himself here tonight, the driver out of Linden, New Jersey. And it's been working out for him, one of the New York, well, not one of, a New York Jets fan. And on the inside here, he was trying to hold the lead, but it now looks like Dana Osborne, who is one of the lappers, has a lap back. Can he drop down, though? That's the question. Oh, man, Dean Wilkinson on the apron. He's getting really loose. Hold on to it, Dean. Man, he does. That got really, really hairy for just a moment. Everybody 2x2 for the most part, except for Richard Sanchez and Chris Whitaker. I wonder if those two could possibly be teammates. Yeah, sure enough, they are. That makes sense. Got to think that Richard would like to go to the front. Cody knows what's going on with those two, so he's going to take advantage as he jumps up to the top now. And I wondered if it was go time yet, or if you just kind of stay in line for the next pit stop. But Cody knows how far him and Richard Sanchez were able to get out on that last pit stop by executing so well. The only thing that they could have worked to their advantage a little bit more on this one would be being in the front. And man, that was a quick move. They started that third lane. Oh man, the 55 is loose again. Dean Wilkinson is really struggling right here. Still bouncing up and down. He's still trying to save it. Finally does, but man, the 55 is struggling again. Really hot track temp here tonight. As Cody Nagels up front and David Overstreet both going to take the lead. Oh, more contact there. Now things are starting to get really, really sketchy. A lot of these guys only took 2 tires during that last pit stop, so they are going to be getting loose. And this next pit stop, you're probably going to take 2 tires again, but on the side that you didn't take the first one. But I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe some guys do take 4 at this point just because it's getting really, really nervous for how it works for a lot of these guys as of right now. Man, oh man. Michael Triscaro, you got to wonder, has this helped his pack? Actually, his pack has just caught now the back of that second pack. Unfortunately, that second pack has continued to lose time. It is now up to 16 seconds behind your leaders. Always heard different theories about this. Some guys say that, obviously it seems faster single file, and in real life it always seems to be that way, but a lot of guys saying iRacing is faster if you're 2 or 3 wide because something about the cars break up more of the air. Man, the 9 of Charles Johnson on the apron. Does he save it? He's still trying to hang on. He finally does. Let's ride on board with one of these guys. About Dean Wilkinson. They just do not look like they're handling very well at all anymore in the middle of the pack. Here's a ride on board with Dean. Watch his hands. Now, when you clip that apron, that's certainly going to hurt your chances, too. It's not as abrupt as it will be when we head to tracks like Daytona throughout the season. And off of the turn, that's usually the sketchiest place. The car kind of unloads. But let's look at that track temp, if it's changed since we started. And it has. I guess you could say it's a positive, as it has dropped a single degree. It is currently 2:04 in sim time. Winds were at 2 miles an hour. Coming from almost north. More so northeast. Probably, I would say more north-northeast. But again, that's not what's affecting these guys. It's the track temp. It's so hot. It makes it. And actually, I'll tell you what, we haven't had an issue tonight with anybody overheating so far, which has shocked me. Usually when you do see the hot track temps, and these guys are running as close as they are for this long, somebody blows a motor at some point, but not yet. And we are going to be approaching the green flag stops here in the next 5 to 6 laps. In fact, we're going to see one right here from the 88. I believe that might be one of the lappers. Yep, John Guerra. And he is going to be in by himself. Has some damage to the right side. First man down pit road for the second time here tonight under green. And it comes 45 laps in. Oh, does he overshoot? Yeah, just a little bit. It's going to cost him some more time. But again, up front, don't expect your leaders to come in for a couple more laps. DJ Thomas leads the way. He's up 22 positions from where he started tonight. Dawson Wise, same boat, up 23 from where he started tonight. He sits second. David Overstreet third. Richard Sanchez fourth. Andrew Schroeder in fifth. Cody Nagel sixth. Dustin Logston in 17. Wilkinson eighth. Dusty Burkhart in eighth. Larry Dickerson in ninth. We're going to have another pit stop right here, and it is going to be Dean Wilkinson. And this could have just been a product of the handling not being too good. It looks like his teammate Charles Johnson goes ahead and pit with him. And even though Charles is a lap down, he could still help Dean out right here. So I do like that call. What's the point of having teammates if you can't find ways to help them if you're not having a good day? So yeah, like I said, I really like what Charles Johnson is doing right here. And we'll see if they can both get out together this time. Is Charles a little bit too far to the left? Oh, he is. That's going to cost him big time again. It's just so easy to do on old tires in these cars. We keep talking about it, but it keeps getting more and more guys. As we had a couple more stopping right here. The 38 of Dusty Logston made his way down. No, excuse me, not the 38. Who was that? Couldn't tell. We'll figure out right here, though, because we got another group coming in being led by, it looked like David Overstreet. The 11, that was Harold Rothery. And you see that group. Oh, I thought they got it clean. Alex Giffen half spun it. That's going to cost him some time. Let's take a look. Is this just a big checkup? He might have been trying to keep it off of one of the guys he was pitting with. Big checkup. Is he going to lock up? Ooh, it might have been on the downshift. Was just wheel hopping. Does a good job keeping it off the wall, but that half spin's going to cost him a ton of time as we got a ton of shuffling going on right now. There's those guys exiting the pits. We'll see how they shuffle out after your leaders here pit. Of course, I guess they were technically part of the leaders. And it looks like Kevin Nagels has had an incident. Looks like he is currently being shown as now out of the race. We'll take a look at that incident in just a moment. Here comes Dawson Wise, and every single one of them are going to go ahead and peel off right here. Cody Nagels, the 41, Chris Whitaker, Richard Sanchez, the 20, DJ Thomas, and they all getting clean. That was very well executed, especially when you consider how old the tires are. Let's watch Cody get in and out of his box here, just how quick it all is. And this is sometimes as a driver you take a little break. Let's watch. Oh, he hit the wall. Ah, that's a mistake. Revs it up here. He's getting ready to go, but that cost him some time. Cost him a lot of time. He's got to be able to hang on to the back of this pack here, man. It's going to be close. You see he is really getting on the throttle quick, trying to do anything he can. I think his teammate Dawson might help him out a little bit right here. Cody's borderline on whether or not he's still in the draft, but that may have given him a little bit of front left damage. It doesn't really look like it. Sometimes when you turn left, you just overdo it. This is what's going to help him right here. Those two cars flying by. He's going to catch a little bit of a draft off of them. That's going to be all he needs to get pulled up to his teammate Dawson Wise. He is back in it, and he can wipe the sweat off of his brow because he knows that that was a close call and losing the draft. The one thing you do not want to have happen at a super speedway race that is going green this long. All right, let's go back real quick. And well, actually, before we do that, Michael Trisqueros, who I was just going to mention here, currently sitting in the 13th spot, down 6 from where he started. Your highest running rookie right now is Larry Dickerson. Dustin Logston, though, looking to catch that pack. He's got Dean Wilkinson along with the 69 of Dusty Burkhart. Those three going to try to draft up. They need to get together in a hurry. They are catching right now. Sits at about 3.4 seconds. But now it's starting to kind of extend a little bit again. We'll have to see if they can find a way to catch him. All right, let's go back and take a look at what happened with Kevin Nagels. This was after Chris Whitaker's spin in the grass. Doesn't bring out the caution. What happens here for the 16? Does he just call it a night? Yeah, it's looking like exactly what's going to happen here. Pulls it to the grass and stop. And again, hey, Kevin's first night in the league race, he was doing a good job early. I mean, you know, just certain things that he's still learning. It takes time. Nobody's perfect at the start. 16 will gain experience each and every week. Certainly look, again, he could be one of the most improved by the end of the season. He's got plenty of weeks to do it, plenty of different super speedways to try it at. And man, I just felt like it seems like a lot of guys that we see, at least in these kind of leagues, that are good at super speedways, you could pretty much be good at almost any track. The super speedway is always the most competitive because it's not so much one guy just being able to blow away the pack with how fast he is. The draft is the great equalizer. And because of that, you got to find a way to make moves and hold people off. You can't just pull away from everybody else. So 50 laps in, and when those pit stops happen, that's going to put this next stop around, I would say, lap 60, between 60 and 65. Probably around 60 to 65, and that should be the final stop of the night. We'll see if we can make it that far. That's in 30 laps from now. Let's take a look. A couple of the announcements that we have here real quick. I think we only actually have one tonight. Where Ghost Racing Network heads next is going to be over to the Fast Track Sim Racing Cup Series this Monday for the Indianapolis Brickyard 200. First race that I'll be broadcasting at the Indy Oval, and I am excited for it. Indy, one of the cool tracks. Not a fan of the road course, but the Oval is not going to disappoint. Don't miss out. That race does go green at 9:05, qualifying at 9. And let's take a moment here to talk about the schedule for the NSRA Sunday Select Series. It's a little bit of it's a pretty simple one in a sense, but at the same time, it's a really fun one. Next place we head is going to be to Daytona in the Xfinity cars. Then we go back to Talladega, then back to Old Daytona. After that, we're going to switch over to the trucks for pretty much the same stint. At least from the looks of it, yeah, it's going to go Talladega, Daytona, Talladega, and then Daytona 08. And then it is back to the Xfinity, so you kind of see how this works. And then back to the trucks, back to the Xfinity, and then the All-Star race is going to be in the ARCA cars. Round of 16 is going to be Daytona to start us off, a night race, followed by Xfinity at Talladega. Round of 8 trucks at Daytona and Xfinity at Daytona, so 2 Daytonas. One of them, of course, being the Old Daytona, though. And then your championship race is going to be at the same place in the same car as it was this season, the Xfinity cars at Talladega. And it does seem like the Xfinity cars take a little bit more skill to drive than the trucks. So I'd like seeing that on there as the championship race. And then the ARCA cars, that's going to be a fun all-star event. Those cars, I feel like you can push the hardest in. Oh, man, almost some contact there. Dana Osborne getting loose, almost gets up into Richard Sanchez and Chris Whitaker, who are both battling on that third line. Whitaker looking to get a lap back. Sanchez trying to help his teammate out. And Overstreet and Osborne still work in the middle, but 2-on-2, neither of those guys I wouldn't think are really going to get anywhere. But I'm going to bite my tongue here because with only 2 cars, the aid of Dana Osborne was able to get David Overstreet clear of the inside. Not sure if they were getting hot and had to back off or what on the inside, but that certainly looked like a mistake. And looking in the Discord at these guys, looks like David Overstreet and Dana Osborne don't see him in the same Discord. Not sure if they're teammates or if they just were trying to help each other there or what. Bubba Winningham, Chad French, Justy Burkhart, some of the other guys that are with David Overstreet. A couple of them still in this lead pack, but man, you see how it's just continued to drop more and more guys out of the pack here. In fact, now we are down to 7 cars that are in this lead pack, and you got a couple of them that are a lap down, but 7 guys that are on the lead lap here still fighting. Wait for that final pit stop where we might even eliminate a couple more. Larry Dickerson up 17 from where he started in 7th. Dawson Wise up 20 from where he started in 5th. But your biggest mover right now is Andrew Schroeder in 2nd, up 26 from where he started. Here's Dean Wilkinson, Dusty Burkhart, and Justin Logston. They're that second pack. 3 guys. They sit 4 seconds back. They were initially catching, but have since fallen about half a second. They're going to have to try to hold on and or close that gap up a little bit here up until this next pit stop, and then they're going to have to execute perfectly and try it again. And then behind these 3, George Rincon. Haven't talked about George yet tonight, so let's go ahead and make sure we do that now. He is leading Brian Kimbler, Michael Triscaro, and Bubba Winningham. I should take that back. Bubba is not in that pack. It's Michael Triscaro and then a couple lap cars. Brian Kimbler is in that pack, though. He is the 64 machine. And all of those guys, they are just praying that we get a caution. The guys in the front, though, they want to continue to see this thing go green. The front pack is still the biggest, even though it only has 7 actual lead lap cars in it. Mix that in with 3 or 4 lappers. Well, you have yourself 10 to 12 car pack up here right now from what it looks like. Chris Whitaker has now technically gotten a lap back. If the caution were to fall right now, he would not have to worry about getting a lucky dog. that's what anybody else in this pack that's a lap down wants to see, because it's one less guy that they're going to have to battle. We'll see how long the 48 of Andrew Schroeder is content with letting Chris have it. And if the fuel is anywhere close, or if these guys want to save a little bit for in case we have an overtime, I think if you're Andrew Schroeder right here, just push. You're already in good position. The guy in front of you, you're not racing him. He's just a lapper. Just stay on this back bumper right here, save some fuel, get yourself set up for this final pit stop, which again, expecting to come in probably about 10 laps from now, if I had to guess. 55 laps completed, 25 to go. Yeah, I would say probably about 10 laps or so from now. And as they remain side by side, we are going to take another side-by-side break. We'll be right back. Talladega.
Ghost Racing Network now has merch. Go to grnmerch.com to browse our selections from stickers to custom-made by request hoodies and shirts. If you've ever wanted to support Ghost Racing Network outside of YouTube, here's your chance. Ghost Racing Network, for the scary side of iRacing.
Back live at Talladega Superspeedway for the RBF Ricky Bobby Foundation 212. And your current leader is not Chris Whitaker, who it looks like he is currently back on the lead lap, though he was fighting for his lap back. Dana Osborne, not him either, because he's another guy fighting for his lap back. You might think, well, what about the 99? Maybe he's going for the lead. Not him either. Alex Giffen is another one of the guys fighting for a lap back. So your top three that almost went three wide right there, none of them are on the lead lap. In fact, the highest running guy in here right now is Andrew Schroeder, who sits second on the inside, pushing Chris. And this might be making some of these guys a little nervous. Dawson Wise, Cody Nagels, they are hoping that they can keep it clean right now. And speaking of Cody Nagels and Dawson Wise, those two teammates, actually they have a couple more teammates, DJ Thomas, they are looking like they're going to have a good chance here if they can execute on this final pit stop. But what they do not want to see right now is a caution. They want to continue to tick off these laps, get this race towards the end. And I don't think you'll really see anybody go too hard in terms of racing until probably the last 10 laps to go or so, maybe. If we can get that far. Kevin Nagels in the chat says, thank you. Thanks to you all for putting up with my dumb butt. And Kevin, you looked completely fine out there. Let me tell you something. For your first league race, I have seen guys with plenty more races that have been on the game for years, and they have done things that have looked about 10 times worse. Out here learning, don't worry about it, man. We'll see you hopefully in the next one next week. That's what these leagues are for. Not officials. You're not gaining or losing any iRating. These guys are out here to have fun. It's a pretty relaxed league from what I've heard. And almost some contact right there for Andrew Schroeder. Almost got up into the 8. It's right on board here. Schroeder, as he pushes Chris Whitaker. Just little, very, very slight swipes back and forth there on the bumper. Enough to where it's not going to turn that car around, but it's able to stay on the back bumper. And the one thing that I wish iRacing Broadcasting still would show was the gauges. It shows the RPM gauge, but oh, he gets loose. Is this the final pit stop? It might be here, but it's only 2 cars. David Overstreet and Andrew Schroeder go in with 20 laps to go. I'm not sure if the fuel window technically just opened or if maybe they had to pit. From what we heard from Cody earlier, 21 laps of fuel around there. So maybe it's because the fuel window just opened that these guys decided to go in, but that seems a little early for me. I think I would have stayed out till at least around 15 to go. That way, if we get a couple overtimes, you're still good to go the rest of the way. But we'll see if this strategy drags down anybody else. Again, it was only 2 cars, so if these guys actually stay out for another handful of laps, they might be able to pull away from those 2 a little bit and maybe drop them from the lead pack. You know, these 3 lappers that continue to battle hard, their goal is to try to pit with these leaders and stay up here battling hard, and I think the leaders are probably hoping they can find a way to get rid of them as well. Richard Sanchez is going to pit, and looks like so is Dana Osborne. Dana's going to spin it, locks it down on entry, gets it back rolling. Not sure if that's going to cost him a penalty, but it's going to cost him a lot of time. Just may have been getting in there a little too hot. Richard Sanchez, though, he gets in fine. And, man, he had a fast car tonight, so you really got to hope here that he can get some help. He needs that lead pack to pit here to hurry. He was probably hoping that Dana would get out with them and they'd be okay with those 2 cars for a little bit. And all of a sudden, now there was just 4 or 5 left in the lead pack. There's the 25 of Larry Dickerson. And looking at your scoring tower, how about 20th on back is not on the lead lap with 4 cars out of the race. In a race where everybody has 2 fast repairs. A little bit of wild thought there. And they stay out yet another lap. It's going to be 17 laps to go now. And I'm telling you, I really, really think this is the winning strategy right here. Limitless looks like they are going to have the best shot at winning tonight with DJ Thomas first. Dawson Wise second. Cody Nagels third. Larry Dickerson, not sure if he is necessarily one of the guys on that team. In fact, I don't see him anywhere in the Discord. He could be one of the solo independent guys. And if that's the case, how impressive is this? That he's hanging with them, able to stick with the strategy that they've been working. Dean Wilkinson, the 69 and the 38, have they been catching a little bit here? They haven't, but it's been staying about even. And in that case, that means they're going to have to execute really, really well right here on pit road. And I'm saying, like, you have to push the issue. This isn't one of those ones where you can maybe do what these leaders could do here and play a little conservative. They're going to have to push the envelope as far as it can go and hope that they make pit road speed, get out as quick as possible, and maybe they can make up half to a second worth of time. That's still going to give them some work to do to get back up there. And if they can get to that 1.5 second, maybe up to 2 second mark, then they should be in the draft and they would have a good shot at getting back in this thing. 20 of DJ Thomas is going to jump high. They're going to switch. Not sure if Dawson Wise had just been getting hot or if maybe the 20 wants to drop back in somewhere to save a little fuel, but it looks like they're leaving him some room right there. Larry Dickerson leaves him some. And the 2 lappers in this pack of Chris Whitaker in the 99 as well of Alex Giffen have both fallen to the back of it. I do think those 2 lappers, though, will try to tag on with your leaders right here. Do they come in this time? Ooh, looks like a couple of them maybe thought they were, but they don't. Stay out yet another lap. Going to put us at 15 to go. Now I think we're going to see them either pit this lap or potentially next lap. See what they decide to do about it. Taking a look here, David Overstreet. He is with his one drafting buddy that he pitted with, Andrew Schroeder. There's a pack catching him. There's Dean Wilkinson coming out of the pits. And does Dean hold on right here? He's going to have to try everything he can. If he can, then this might pull him back up to the lead pack when that lead pack pits. Oh, I love the games that are going on right now because watch this. Here, let's look out the front windshield. I'm not sure if we can see it from here. So Dawson Wise, who is leading the second pack, they are actually catching up to a pretty big pack of cars. I don't think they're going to have enough time. Yeah, there you see that pack up there, and they're going to stay out another lap. Is there any contact? No, it looks like everybody that just pitted right there got in clean, but I was going to say if they would have kept that pace up and there was enough laps left, they could pull a draft off, and this would just continue to help them pull more time off the guys that they had been racing before. And, yeah, it doesn't look like they're close enough anymore to have a chance at catching anybody before they're going to have to pit. And with 14 laps to go now, I would really expect them to go this time. Starting to think they've got to start to be hurting a little bit on fuel here. Not sure. I know they definitely will have to pit by 10 to go. I mean, even if you were saving a lot. But I'm thinking maybe they come in this time. I think it's certainly a good time to with the gap that they've created. Get in now. That way you still have some time And sure enough, here they come. Dawson Wise to the inside. And look how coordinated that is. They're all going to split lanes. Man, they got an aggressive 20 lockup, big lockup. DJ Thomas, not sure if he was able to get down the speed right there. And it was the exact reason that everybody chooses a different line if you're on a team when you're entering the pits, is because you know everybody has different braking points, and sometimes that can happen. Kevin Nagel says, I've ran 6 officials. And that's pretty good so far. Yeah, Kevin, I just heard from Cody, though, that it was your first league race tonight. That's the only reason I had mentioned that. But again, not too bad. Keep practicing at it. See, they're up there racing Cody here. Just a few short races. Got to be careful here. Don't go above that yellow. Man, Dawson Wise in the 98 and the 20 of DJ Thomas. Got my heart skipping a beat right there because, man, all it takes is getting 2 tires above that yellow, and it will cost you big time. Here comes the big pack roaring their way into turn 1 right now. They have got to do everything they can to catch the leaders who are exiting 2. I don't know if they're going to be close enough. Let's look at the blimp cam here to see if they're in the same camera view. Ah, man, that's going to be a lot of work here with only 13 to go for this second pack. It's being led by 2 very fast cars, Andrew Schroeder and David Overstreet. But, man, they're going to have to get clicking off the lap times in a hurry. Let's look. Right now, Andrew Schroeder is about 6 seconds back from Larry Dickerson. Again, this group is still getting up to speed and getting organized, so they've got a little wiggle room to work with. But, man, if you're Cody, you are screaming at your teammates right here. Everybody get lined up, and let's save the race in here for probably now with the battle that's going to be going on with them trying to catch. They may wait till under 5 to go before they even consider getting racy. They are catching a couple lap cars. That's going to give them an extra tow. Help them pull a little bit more from that second pack. And that is being shown in the lap as Andrew Schroeder is now back a little bit further than 6 seconds back. They do have a couple bridge cars in between. Looks like that is Richard Sanchez, who we saw pit. And did Richard lose? He might have lost the lap. No, Richard Sanchez is being scored 20th. Not sure what exactly happened. Richard had been having a good night. Unfortunately, I guess may have gotten caught there with that pit stop. Maybe sped? Not sure, but yeah, he is now being scored a lap down. 11 laps to go. You can feel us finally starting to get to the end of this thing. But, man, it's gone by pretty quick with all the green flag racing that we've seen. Here's where it gets a little tricky, and this is where things maybe start to get held up a little bit. These are all lap cars, but it's a 4-car pack nonetheless. So while the draft to get to him helps, the going side-by-side part, that is not going to help too much. We'll see if Cody can get clear, and if he does he drop low? Oh, he does. Interesting move right there from the 6 machine. And now with these guys all going to be side-by-side, we'll see if that second group being led by Andrew Schroeder can track him down. It's now back to almost 7 seconds from the back bumper of the lead pack. Larry Dickerson, still the highest running rookie tonight so far in the 25 car. Chris Whitaker still up there battling for a lap back, and we are still going to have, we already had a couple guys who are not on the lead lap fighting the lead pack. Now we're going to add a couple more. And it looks like Nagels had actually fallen back to 3rd now as Dawson Wise and DJ Thomas were both able to drop down. Here's a look at Cody that's right on board. And I think he is going to be pretty content to ride right here for the next 5 laps at least. Maybe wait till we get to the closing 3 laps before thinking about making a move. It's just going to depend. And making those moves now is not going to be quite as easy as it was early in the race because these tires are pretty worn out. My guess is that these guys were just taking cycles of 2. Oh, yellow flag is out. Yellow flag is out. Oh, boy, this is going to change everything. Not what Cody Nagels and company wanted to see, but it was bound to happen sooner or later, and it looks like it happened in the second pack. David Overstreet, heavy front-end damage. And it looks like Andrew Schroeder, his teammate, is pretty beat up as well. And when I say his teammate, I'm not sure if they're in the same Discord together, but the 2 guys definitely did pit together that time. Let's see what brings out only your 3rd caution here of the night, 80 laps in. Or not 80 laps in, but almost 80 laps. And we're going to go ahead and fix the screen here real quick, so it had a little glitch. Apologize about that. All right, let's go to the chopper view first here. And we'll see if... You know, actually, I'm not even sure what happened. Let's just get in full speed. Oh! Wow. Second car we've had upside down today. That's Dean Wilkinson. That was a big wreck. Watch. Does the 48 just get him a little bit offset here? Yeah, he does. The 88, I don't believe, was on the lead lap. That is Guerra. John Guerra. Yeah, no, he wasn't even on the lead lap. These guys were all pushing to make progress. And the 48 is going to get to him and just hits him in the left. Turns him right around. That sends him back up the track into David Overstreet. Gets up into Dean Wilkinson. And then there's the 48. Takes a hit on the inside wall. This did happen out of turn 4. I think David Overstreet, probably fair to say, got the worst of it right there. Not sure how that thing was even still running. I take it back, actually. I think Dean Wilkinson got the worst of it there as he flipped a couple times. A couple more views of it. Let's look from the TV follow. Boom. Look at the 55. Oh, my goodness. I have to ride on board. David Overstreet tagged that out. So, well, that's going to be a fast pair for the 55, the 68. Probably the, I don't know, the 88 might have been okay, and the 48 probably as well, as he hit the front end pretty square. Let's ride on the cockpit here of Dean Wilkinson. Watch this. And I bet you that probably caught him off guard even. Spectators got a good view of it from the fan cam as well. And, you know, it's part of the damage model when some of these Xfinity cars, like right there when he hooks the wall, it just kind of, the wall almost like grabs the car and flips it. Here's the 48 sliding into the inside wall. This will, and this time I do mean it, final view right here. I want to take a ride on board with Andrew Schroeder. It was kind of interesting. It looked like he kind of squared him up a little bit offset, but sometimes it doesn't really look that way from the cockpit view. Yeah, not sure if he wasn't, if he may not have thought he was quite to his bumper yet and thought he'd be okay if he was still a little offset. Not sure, but definitely it's going to cost a couple guys a faster pair. That is for sure. Cody Nagle's being scored as your leader. Larry Dickerson in second. Dustin Logston third. DJ Thomas fourth. George Rincon in fifth. Brian Kimbler in sixth. Dusty Burkhart seventh. David Overstreet eighth. Michael Triscaro in ninth. And Dawson Wise rounding out your top 10. And everybody was on the lead lap now has a chance. And not sure who had gotten your lucky dog, but we still have plenty of guys either not on the lead lap and or out of this race. In fact, 14th on back is being shown a lap down. And it looks like 4 of these guys, yep, 4 of the drivers right now are just completely out of the race. John Guerra in the pits repairing his damage. Do we get the one to go signal this time? Sure enough, we are. Cody's going to choose the top. It's going to be 6 laps to go and we go green. If we can make it all the way around 5 times. Seth Groover says was pit road closed when Wise entered. And is that, I'm assuming, was that just now maybe? It may have been, because yeah, it looks like he did fall to the back. Yeah, sure enough, Seth, that may have been what happened. Not sure. We were looking at the replays during the pit stops, and I do assume probably a decent amount of guys, maybe at least towards the back, decided to go in just to top off. Now, not all these guys that are in front of Dawson are on the lead lap, but they're going to be fighting like they are because there's so many guys that are in position looking to get that lucky dog. So this is going to make it a pretty intense battle. Up front, though, Cody still has a couple teammates surrounding him. But the inside, what about the rookie of Larry Dickerson? How cool would it be to get a win in your first race of your first season for the NSRA Sunday Select Series? It would be a good one for sure. This week, I will be around for most of the broadcasts that I do have scheduled. However, next week won't be any broadcast here on Ghost Racing Network. And reminder, if you're interested, Ghost Racing Network has merch. I've had it for a little while now. Make sure you check it out. I got a shirt. Well, I already got a shirt. Got another shirt coming in on Monday. But I know a lot of the guys in the PGR series like it. Get yourself a sticker, a shirt, hoodie, whatever floats your boat. We appreciate anybody that likes to represent the Ghost Racing Network brand at any point. And hey, even just being here watching, we appreciate you being here. 5 likes on the video so far tonight. 15 viewers. It's been a little bit of a smaller crowd than it was last week, but of course last week was the championship. But the racing this week has been phenomenal so far. The only thing now is to try to beat the insane finish that we had last week. And we very well could be on track to do so. The pace car pulls off. Green flag is back in the air. 6 laps to go at Talladega. It's good even start here for the first 2 rows. Cody with a nose out in front entering turn 1. The inside's going to catch right back up as they work their way through the corner. Don't think it's going to take very long for us to get 3 wide this time. As you see Chris Whitaker, he's already decided to go 3 wide. I think he is still a lap down. Yeah, he is. But again, we've talked about that lucky dog battle. These guys have to get as close to the front as they can, even if they're not on the lead lap, because they know they're going to be fighting guys for it. So you got 3 wide for about the 5th row on back. But everybody up front still remains double file. There's Richard Sanchez trying to move up with Dean Wilkinson. And Chris Whitaker, man, he is very antsy. Dawson Wise in the middle right now. He's got nowhere to go. Everybody stays 2 by 2. Again, only 2 green-white checkers here in the Sunday Select Series. So you got to think all these guys keep that in the back of their minds in terms of fuel conservation and maybe how hard they want to race right here. Make it 4 cars now up top. 5. They're going to add another one as one actually drops out. They're starting to get some momentum built up. There's a big break in the middle of that second lane. Chris cannot decide which lane he wants right now. He is up, down, up, down, up, down. Going to have to make up his mind sooner or later for any of these lines to make any progress. Finally does. And down the backstretch, you can see how much momentum it allowed them to gain. So the man on the bottom, DJ Thomas, he leads the way second right now. How about Brian Kimbler? The late run and the 64 could have a chance at going for the win. Oh, we got one turn to the inside wall. Looked like it's the 38 of Dustin Logston. Did he hit it? I don't know if he hit it, but he's in the grass now. He's going for a slide, and it is going to draw the yellow. Oh, we got a big rack up front. That's what draws the yellow. Looks like it's going to collect the 69, the 8 of Dana Osborne, and a couple more in it. So that slide may have been a blessing in disguise for Dustin Logston. Let's go back and take a look at the first incident here, which was the spin involving Dustin. And I think he's just kind of going to get booted right here. Or is it a checkup? Oh, looks like a checkup, and then he gets up the track, makes some contact. That's what's going to send him down. See just behind him the 28. Plenty of room, but yeah, once he back that up just a little more. I don't like the way that looks. All right, here we go. Watch Dawson, excuse me, not Dawson Wise. Watch the 38 here of Dustin Logston, excuse me. Logston, man. And there we go. Yeah, I'm not sure. Just watch this up a little bit. Not sure if there was a checkup. And then there was some netcode that sucks the 2 cars together. Then it sends the 38 for a slide. He somehow doesn't hit the wall. He makes slight contact in the left side driver's door. I don't think it's too bad. I think he'll be okay. And then goes for the slide in the grass. But the big wreck is out back right here. 70 was in it. And so a couple of the actual lap down cars were the ones involved. Stephen McComas. So almost got upside down. And wow, this was a big, big hit for the 8 of Dana Osborne, who actually got up into the catch fence. But where is it all going to go wrong? Watch the 8s. That is a wild, wild ride for Dana. We'll have to take a look at that. This was just after that incident with the 38s, and guys maybe still trying to figure things out. Ooh, you see Overstreet duck a little low. Everything seems fine, though, there. It's further back. The 69 comes down a little bit. There's some netcode between him and the 28, which sends him up into Dana Osborne. Propels Dana into the catch fence. And there's the 28 with more contact. Nothing he could do after. Was just an innocent victim by that point. It is George Rincon. And then it all slides back down the track eventually, which is exactly what you saw happen right there. Take a couple more views of it. Watch it from, let's watch it from the, let's try the TV 4 cam here. And everybody just trying to dodge. Oh, the 74 of Robert Jordan. Dawson Wise didn't see that initially, but he was collected in it. And unfortunately, with whatever got him sent to the back, that's part of the dangers that you face when you do get sent to the back. And he was not going to be avoiding that one. Cockpit ride here with Dana Osborne. Watch this. Certainly scares you as a driver a little bit. Catches you off guard. Back live, though, this is going to send us into overtime, first of 2. Of course, hoping that this race will finish under green. It looks like Seth Groover, after said Thomas had an exiting penalty there. They went to pit road, and when the caution came out, wondering if they made pit road. And Seth says might have to come back down. Never mind. So it is going to be a 2-lap shootout, green-white checkered. Same rules as always apply. Let's see if we can get a word here. Let's try Dean Wilkinson. He's had a pretty wild night. Let's see if we can see how he's feeling here. Hey Dean, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, you've had a pretty crazy night, man. I mean, you've been up in the lead. You've flipped upside down. But how are you going to get this thing done, get the race win?
Well, I'm going to have to get this 20 car out of my face. And then somehow get in front of that Cody Nagels.
All right, well, we know we only have 2 green-white checkers. Does that change up the strategy at all? Do you think about trying to take him 3 wide, or do you try to push him clear? How do you go about it?
Yeah, no, I'm going to push the 20 up until probably the last lap and then see what happens. I got no friends in here, so I'm on my own.
I'll tell you what, if you can win this race tonight, you might certainly make some. Hey, thanks for giving me a quick word. Good luck here these last 2 laps. See if we're talking to you here in a couple minutes.
Thank you, sir.
And boy, he said that with some assertion. What do you need to do? I need to get the 20 out of my face. Let them know, and I do think, I know from what I've seen in Discord that DJ Thomas and Cody Nagels are working together. So I don't know if the 20 is necessarily going to just drop down and kind of lay over here. So I do like that call by Dean. Push him until that last lap and set up the pass. I would say out of turn 4 maybe. But again, it's just he's going to have to watch where all the runs are coming from and et cetera, et cetera. We talked about Larry Dickerson had been the highest running rookie all night. That is going to change now as Michael Triscaro is being scored as your highest running rookie. He's going to start in 6th, up 2 spots from where he started. As the pace car gets ready to pull off. Again, we have 2 overtimes. This is going to be number 1 of 2. 2 laps. All we got to do is make it back to the white flag, and this race will be official. Back into the Geico restart zone. Through the gears we go. Green flag is back in the air at Talladega. 2 laps to go. Good start. Both lanes going to get pretty even here. The 20, though, with the nose ahead. That's exactly what Dean Wilkinson wants to do. He's going to have to give him a really, really big push, though, down the backstretch if he wants to get him clear. No, we're going to see that 3rd lane, but the question is who takes it first. Watch for the 41 of Chris Whitaker. Michael Triscaro tries to beat him to it. Some contact there. Everybody scatters to try to avoid a wreck. So far they do, but we got 3, maybe some 4 wide going on. How long can this last? Into turn 3, the 20 still holding the lead on the outside. Cody still fighting hard on the inside. Further back, we were 4 wide for a moment. Dawson wasn't able to drop down. That's going to put him in an awkward 3 wide spot. But he's going to get some help right here from the 94. He's trying to stay clear of Chris. And now they're going to push it 4 wide again as we go into the travel out back. How long can that work? Back to 3 we go. We are going to make it. This race will be official as the white flag is in the air. One more time around Talladega. Who is going to get the win? Cody's got the hot streak, all the momentum right now. He got the win last weekend in the championship. He's on the bottom. His teammate DJ Thomas up top. The tops look like the fastest these last 2 laps, but we know Dean Wilkinson is going to make a move. The question is just a matter of when. Watch for Michael Triscaro. He might try one too. He jumps out. Chris Whitaker follows. There's the 20 to the inside. That opens it up for the 55 of Dean Wilkinson up top. into turn 3 for the final time. Cody Nagels, can he push his teammate clear enough to make a move? I don't think he's going to have enough, but it could turn into a drag race coming to line here. Michael Triscaro, one big push. They're all wrecking out back. It's going to be a 2-car on tandem battle, but not now because Triscaro drops down low, and that's going to be all DJ Thomas needs. He is going to win the season opener at Talladega. And what a way to start the season for the 20 car. Cody Nagels comes in second. Dean Wilkinson third. Michael Triscaro, the highest finishing rookie tonight, comes home fourth. And Chris Whitaker, somehow, someway, after getting his lap back, finishes inside your top 5. What a race that we saw here tonight. Long green flag runs with a thriller of a finish. But at the end of the day, it came down to that move right at the end. And in fact, let's go take a quick look at the move that I'm talking about. Michael Triscaro jumping to the bottom here, I think is what secures this. Right there. Instead of staying up top, decides to jump down, help the 2 guys that he's been working with all night. And no matter how hard Dean Wilkinson wants to side draft, just didn't have any help behind. And that's how DJ Thomas gets the win here at Talladega in race 1 of season 11. We're going to go get you top 3 for interviews as he burns it down and celebrates. We'll be right back at Talladega. All right, back live at Talladega Superspeedway. Looks like Dean has left the chat early here. We just talked to him a minute ago, but it looks like he is not in here for your top 3 interviews. So that moves us on to your second place finisher, Cody Nagels. Cody, you got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Well, a great run for you and what we're assuming was your team here tonight, because it looks like the top, not quite top 3, but 3 out of the top 4 were all guys that you were working with tonight. Tell you what, that long green flag run, how did that help your team out, and how did you manage to bring home that 3rd place finish? Or 2nd place finish, excuse me.
No, you're good. Give me just a second. I'm putting in the password to Ron's race. All right, got it in there. All right, so we tried to run it long and just run a patient race. That way, if the race happens to stay green, we wanted to get us a good long run at the end, to where we kind of had an idea that maybe we could run fast laps together. And it looked like we were able to execute. And I hate it for Dawson and Michael. They were running a really good race, and they got an unsafe exiting. I think it was one of them where they just peaked up a little bit too early, and they got blacked. But thankfully, they got a very well-timed caution. And I don't know, everything just seemed to work out, and we had it in mind that whoever was leading, we weren't going to deviate from that person. We'd push him to a win, and I got in a position there. I went up once in front of DJ to try to just maintain some temps, and then the caution come out, and we said, well, whoever just gets in front of the other will push to the win, and he got in front of me. So I was glad to be able to push him to his first win in his very first race over here.
Certainly was an impressive way to start the season for DJ Thomas. We know you got to get over to your next race, so we'll just, on that note, say before we let you go, is anyone else you want to thank or shout out?
Of course, I want to thank you, Austin, for putting on a good show. I want to thank all the admins at NSRA, and I want to thank all the guys that I was running with tonight. DJ, Dawson, Robert Jordan, Jimmy Reynolds, my dad. I want to make sure. I didn't even mention Michael. We had quite a few people in there, and quite a few rookies. So shout out to all the rookies, and hope that they enjoyed themselves. So thanks again.
All right. Thank you for talking to us. Congrats on the second place finish, and we will see you next Sunday.
Thank you.
And that is going to bring us to your winner, DJ Thomas. DJ, this is also on the booth. You got a copy.
Yes, I do, Austin. How's it going?
Good. Well, you're 1 for 1 here. First race of the season and first win of the season. Man, you look like you were on fire there in terms of the green flag pit stops you executed. Late in the race you executed. Tell us about the race and how you were able to get the job done at the end.
So the race was just great. Awesome teammates the entire time. Awesome strategy. Both Cody and Dawson, fantastic. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I was not expecting this. I don't know. We're faster than majority of the field at times, just working us three together. Pit strategy was awesome. We had a plan. Me and Dawson almost screwed up, got lucky, and Cody at the end, fantastic push at the end. Fan-freaking-tastic push from Cody at the end, but we got it done.
Yeah, certainly did. Three of your teammates finished in the top 4 here tonight. Real quick, want to ask you, we know on the schedule there's 3 different tracks we head to: Talladega, Daytona, and Old Daytona. Out of those 3, which one do you probably have circled on your calendar for maybe the second win?
Why not the second? How about all 3? Let's get all 3 of them.
All right. Hey, bold statement to make. We'll see if it can come true. You're off to a good start for it. Thanks for talking to us. Before we let you go, though, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out tonight?
Like I said, my teammates, my cousin Avery, my buddy Seth, both tuning in right now. Austin, you guys here at the network, putting up these races and all that. Thanks for letting me be here. Obviously, I know I joined out of nowhere, but again, get this done out of nowhere. Very excited. I'm glad to be here.
And you certainly should be. Congrats on the win tonight. We'll see you next Sunday.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
DJ Thomas, your winner tonight at Talladega. Cody Nagels finishes second. It's going to be Dean Wilkinson third, Michael Triscaro fourth, Chris Whitaker in fifth, Larry Dickerson sixth, Dawson Wise in seventh. How about George Rickon finishing eighth, David Overstreet ninth, and Dusty Burkhart rounding out your top 10. Richard Sanchez brings home 11th. Russ Hancock in 12th, Dustin Logston in 13th, Brian Kimbler in 14th, Alex Skiff in 15th, Chad French in 16th. Moving on back to 17th, Robert Jordan, Bubba Winningham in 18th, Stephen McComas in 19th. It's going to be Harold Rothery rounding out your top 20. Sean Stevens 21st, Dana Osborne 22nd, Andrew Schroeder in 23rd, John Guerra 24th, Charles Johnson 25th, Kevin Nagels 26th. Jimmy Reynolds finishes 27th, and rounding out your 28 car field tonight was Jordan Berry. Well, I'll tell you what, race did not disappoint tonight. It was a fun one to watch. Looked like a fun one to race. And how about DJ Thomas in his first race getting the job done? Big congrats again to him. We will be back next Sunday at Daytona. Not sure yet if it's under the lights, but we'll have to find out. The only way you find out is by tuning in. Thank you all for being here. I hope you enjoyed. On that note, have a good night.